So check it out, almost done. The first coat, we're gonna do another coat of it, but I'd say it looks pretty dang good. Like really good. We're getting our rack on next week, so it'll match. And yeah, check that out. Looks good. Looks good. So we just peeled the tape off because you can't really let it sit on there, otherwise it would pull all of the plasti dip off. And it did pull it off in a couple of spots, so we'll have to re-tape a few areas, but overall it looks pretty good. Got to do a little touch up. Oh, it looks good. Check out the windows! Yeah! Just got it back today with the windows installed. So we did the two back on both sides, the back doors, and then the sliding door. That one's a T-vent window, so it actually opens up at the bottom right here. So pretty exciting. Makes the inside look a lot bigger and brighter, and we love the windows. So looks a little funky on the outside, having no window here, but this is where our kitchen's gonna be. So we didn't really want a window there this time. We're gonna do tile on the inside. So I like it, looks good. Here's what the inside looks like. And we have this one, it has a vent at the bottom. So there's a little thing there, super nice, so we can have ventilation. And if you're in San Diego looking for somebody to install your windows, we go to Sprinter Pit Stop. The link is below in the description. He did our windows, and we paid somebody because it's kind of a pain in the butt. So looks pretty good. We're getting ready to do a little bit of touch up plasti dip on the bottom. I'll show you guys what we're using, by the way, and we're just cleaning it off with some Trader Joe's cleaner, and we're gonna do the other side. So we haven't done this other side yet, so we got to come over here and clean. Got to clean really well, or otherwise your tape does not stick and then you're in trouble. So got to clean this side, getting ready to do the other half. Here we go.
So excited.
One last tip if you are going to use plasti dip is to pull off your tape quickly after you've done your first spray, and go back and touch up later, because if you let the plasti dip totally dry and then peel the tape off, you're going to peel the plasti dip off with it. So move quick and pull it off while it's still wet. That way you have a nice clean line and you don't really have to go back and touch up like we're going to have to do on the other side. So little tip for you if you're going to do it. This is what we are using. You can buy it at Home Depot. We got black. Even though this paneling is a dark gray, this matches really well. And this stuff is actually like a rubber coating, so it does peel off if you ever want to take it off. It comes off really easily, but it also stays on really well. Scott comes with a View, used this, and his is held up for like the last 6 months, so we're stoked.
Yeah.
Round 2, here we go. So here is the other side. We spray painted that and then pulled it right off. Alex is working on this part. What's your technique, babe? Give him some tips.
Short strokes. It's all about the angle that you spray, making sure it lines up with the angle of the metal.
And then pull off the tape fast, right?
Yep.
Move quick. We have these aluminum running boards we're getting ready to install now that the plasti dip is all done, looking fly. And these are because my dad is actually our contractor who helps us with the build, and he has a hard time stepping all the way up into the step. It's pretty big. So I'm getting ready to install them. For the record, they are off of Amazon and they were $200. Link is in the description below if you're curious about them and want to install them on your own van. Highly recommend them. Quick side note, so for everybody that's wondering, you know, who helps us with our build and all that, we definitely hire things out like our windows, as we showed you already. My dad helps us with everything else. So he was a custom home builder for over 40 years, and he is the one that helps us scribe everything, custom built cabinets, drawers, everything is really custom built, and we could not do that without my dad. There's no way Alex and I would ever try to say that we did all of our own stuff and built everything by ourselves. We have the expertise of my dad, who's been doing this stuff for a really long time. So it definitely pays to pay a professional and hire out things that you really aren't comfortable with, whether that's cutting in windows or the electrical or building cabinets or whatever that is for you. Really spend time budgeting and figuring out what those things are that you know if you did it on your own, it just is not going to work, and pay a professional. We're just lucky that my dad is a professional and we have the free help from that. But one thing that people often don't budget in with their van builds is how much labor is involved. So if you don't have the time to build everything on your own, then pay somebody to do it for you. And yeah, it's going to add the cost of your build, but it's going to be worth it in the long run to just have it done right the first time versus you trying to figure it out all on your own. Helping sort through everything so we can get this running board installed. I don't even know what he's doing in there. We're just following the instructions, right, babe?
Damn straight.
Got the first bracket on. Getting the second one up in there. So there's already holes for that, huh, babe?
Yep. They're covered by little rubber caps that you pull off.
So this is a pretty legit setup. You want running boards for your van. Got all the brackets on. Can't see them because of Alex's legs. Opening up the package, we're going to check to see if this is level. And then you drill here and here to secure the bracket. Here's the final result. 2 hours later. Van builds are not easy, guys, at all. But it looks good. Another day working on the van. So we got this center line snapped here that runs the center of the van. That's what we work off of to build the benches and everything else. Highly recommend doing that. And what you do is just measure the width and then cut that in half and then snap a line on it. And now Alex is working on the steel studs for the benches, right, babe?
Oh yeah, my favorite thing.
Got some tips if you're working with this stuff?
Yeah, one, gloves. A good pair of metal cutters are great. They come in like a right-handed version, a left-handed version, like a left cut, a right cut, or a straight cut. I always go with the straight cut. And then you're gonna measure your distance in the middle, mark it on both sides, the framing square, and then you're cutting on both sides. Then you just fold it until it comes off.
So those are the lengths we need?
Yeah, so you use two different materials. This is a steel channel, and this is a steel stud. And so the channels run your horizontal distances, while the studs run your verticals. And so the studs are built with these little notches in it so you can run wiring or run plumbing through it. So yeah, just building out the boxes for the benches right now. And so it's actually going to be 3 different boxes. A box for the longest side of the box of the bench, and then a box for either end of the bench as well. And then we'll just mount a stud on the wall for the back side.
Date. Looking good. And babe, tell people why we use steel.
Because steel has some flex to it, so it's a little bit safer in accidents, and also just as you're bumping on down the road, you're not going to get wood that's going to start to crack and splinter that are your supporting beams. So with these studs, you get a little bit more flex, and you also save on weight. We're going to be facing them with plywood and trimming them out anyway, but you do save on weight compared to like wooden 2x4s.
Yep, so still need to put some supports in.
Yeah.
But there's what it will look like.
That's the bed.
What are we going to do?
We are going to get the rack put on at Aluminess.
This has been Alex's dream for years. Ever since we got a van, he's wanted one of these.
Before we got a van, I wanted a van with a rack.
So, his dream is coming true today!
Here we
That's
go.
how much I love you. I'll spend that amount of money on it. They're definitely pricey, but worth it. Also, a little side tip, if you want to get in quicker with them, they have a stock version that has cutouts for fans in the two most common places. So that's a way to cut down on how long it takes for them to get your rack on and installed, because they're out usually like 2 or 3 months, like scheduling wise. If you're doing a custom one, if you do the stock one, they usually have them so they can fit you in within like a week or 2. So, little tip if you do want a rack.
Lots and lots and lots of Aluminess gear. Got Tiny carrying our ladder for us.
Big toy store for adults.
So we snuck into the back. We're not supposed to be here right now, but they're almost done. Looks so good. Guys at Aluminess, now they're just putting on the side ladder. And that's what I'm talking about. I have always wanted a Sportsmobile with a rack on top, and I never knew that Sportsmobile buys all their racks from Aluminess. So now I have my even better than Sportsmobile Sprinter. Yeah! Oh, here it is. Looks so good. Tiny pulling it up for us. Boom.
Awesome.
Love it.
I gotta climb up the ladder, you know that, right? What was that, slave driver?
Said you should record for YouTube because people want to know about steel studs.
So why steel studs again?
They're lightweight.
Stronger.
Which is great. They're very, very strong, and you can use them in more creative ways than you can wooden studs.
And don't you agree that if you got in an accident, these would hold up better than wood?
I have heard rumor of that.
Yeah, that's another thing. Safety. Safety first, right, babe?
Safety, at least in the top 3.
And for the record, yes, I'm riding in the cart.
That's my wife. All right, good morning. It is Wednesday, so we are wrapping up week 3 right now. Had a really productive week. Highlight of the week was getting the Aluminess rack put on the roof and the side ladder. It's something I've always wanted, a Sportsmobile, and to know that Aluminess is actually the company that makes all of the racks for Sportsmobile, and now I have my own on my very own adventure mobiles. Pretty freaking rad. And so we're excited about that. Great people, super helpful to work with, so I appreciate all the help that they did in getting us in so quickly. Also a big week because we got a few other people on board with this build. Renogy is going to be shipping out 400 watts of their solar starter kit to us. Should be here today. Battleborn Batteries is going to be teaming up with us. We have 2 100 amp hour lithium batteries that are going to be coming the next couple days, as well as a 3,000 watt Victron inverter charger. So electrical, it's time to really dive into that aspect. We have most of our wiring done already. Yesterday I finished building these 2 back benches using steel studs. So we'll be facing those with 3/4 inch plywood, or sorry, 3/8 inch plywood on the outside and 1/4 inch plywood on the inside. And then gonna finish up framing and furring strips today. I want to get everything ready so that then I can just go into cutting plywood and putting plywood up. Some aspects we're just doing furring strips up because we're going to be using cedar tongue and groove for some of the siding, like back behind the benches like we did last time. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to frame around the windows and how we want to do that. but feeling really good about where the build is right now. This is a part of your build where it can kind of get overwhelming or a little bit frustrating. So make sure that just when you hit the framing phase that you just try and stay motivated and really lay out exactly what it is that you want to do. Mark on the floors, mark on the walls if you need to. And again, consult an expert if you feel like you're in over your head or you're just not sure that you're doing it the way that you want to. This is super helpful for us, having Sarah's dad, who was a contractor and a custom home builder for 40 years. So to have his experience and knowledge, he's coming off of some health issues, so he's not really able to physically be out here helping on the van like he was on the last build at this phase. So I've been doing most of it solo with Sarah's help, but at the same time, just having the ability to go in and ask him questions or have him come out and look at some things is super helpful, and I'm learning a ton working with him. So I hope you guys are enjoying the build. Thanks so much for following along, and time to get to work.
Just getting all the furring strips put up.
Yeah.
Working away. And tell them what you use furring strips for, babe.
Well, this is what you use to attach your walls to the van. If not, you would have to drill through the metal to attach whatever material you were going to use on the walls. But with the furring strips, then you have a nail bed that you can go through. And this is where we're going to be putting the backer for our cabinets. Down here is where we're going to be running tongue and groove, which is going to be the back of the seats. So yeah, this is what you use to secure to the van, just like we did on the ceiling. And then you're going to put your materials directly onto this.
We also just got our Renogy solar panels today. So on our last van, we had 3 100-watt Renogy solar panels. We love them, and so this time we get to work with them, which is really cool. We love their product. So on this van, we're doing 4 100-watt panels. So the same panels, there they are, just got delivered today. And their charge controller we're going to use, I think it's called the Rover charge controller. And then we're doing lithium-ion batteries from Battleborn, and I believe a 3,000 watt inverter from Victron. So more of all those details to come, and actually how we're going to install all of that. We'll show you some step-by-step stuff. But yeah, we're stoked about Renogy. We love them. So thanks, Renogy.
The first broken drill bit of the build.
Oh, wow.
Drilling through the metal a lot, so I'm probably going to go through 2 or 3 more of these. Okay, all wrapped up for the day. This wraps up our last week of our van build. So we got some materials loaded up that we got to take back to Home Depot tomorrow. We got to pick up some plywood. Today we got all the furring strips up, where we're going to be running all of the tongue and groove. Back here we're going to be putting the upper cabinets up. So build's moving right along. Stay tuned next week for more stuff. We're going to be framing out the bathroom with steel studs, so if you're interested in how you do a bathroom with a overhanging toilet, stay tuned. We're going to be showing you. If you like this, subscribe, go ahead, leave comments or questions down below, and we'll see you guys next week.